So go on, my. It's been a while. Go on, you can do the intro. You go.
All right, okay. So thank you very much. The red light saying lives in the corner. This is Scotty, Motty, Youngy, unscripted. We have no idea what we're going to talk about. I'm not going to fucking lie. But I think sometimes that's the best way. Us three haven't seen each other, at least on this channel, for a while. We may have seen each other outside a football ground that may or may not have held a protest. But I can't confirm whether I was there or I wasn't. I might have been. I'm not going to tell you. But tonight we're going to talk about whatever comes off our chest. I apologise for how late this has been between the last couple of shows. Unfortunately, I had some shit to deal with at home. But we move on now. James, what's happening in the world? Let's go to you first.
I think I might be scammed out of a COVID test, so that's fun. Basically, the company that I'm using to get a COVID test with on the way back from me going to Gdansk have been removed from the government's recommended list of test providers after I've already booked it. So that's going to be fun. So don't know what I'm going to do when I come back. The test just might not come. So
yeah,
might just be stuck in quarantine.
Are you supposed to sort of bring these tests with you and then do it at the airport?
So Poland aren't accepting tests done outside. So when you arrive in Poland, you've got to do a test in Poland to show that you're negative. And then when you come back, you've got to book a test before you fly out to fill in on your form to show that you're going to get a test when you arrive back in the UK on day 2 and day 8 of your quarantine. But if you pay an extra 150 quid, you can end it 3 days early, which is nice of them.
Yeah. Okay, now. What sort of tests do you need? I've got loads of them knocking around the house.
No, they've got to be private tests as well, of course.
Oh yeah,
I've got to be on the NHS. It's got to be private PCR tests sent to a lab.
Why do you think that is, James?
Well, I don't know. Strange. A lot of those websites look quite sketchy, I must say, that are on that government website of approved test providers.
Yeah. I seen a belting tweet today, and it was you might have seen it was some like boxer short wearing boxer short manufacturers, and the tweet was, "Hey Boris Johnson, we create some fantastic nylon boxer shorts. Is there any chance we can tender for some PPE?" And they were just trolling him. It was absolutely brilliant. Jay, what's been new in the world of Jay Motty?
Just like yourself, I've just been sort of doing, keeping myself busy by, not attending protests outside football matches. Obviously, with doing the fan channel, it's been a bit of a busy 2 weeks, shall we say, since the short-lived Super League, European Super League, was announced. That just sent everyone into a bit of a tailspin. I believe it's still sort of a thing in it, and like Juve and Barcelona and Real Madrid still part of it, or still not officially quit. I'm not sure what the latest is with that. But yeah, that was crackers. And yeah, just doing a whole family thing, and we've just been doing a bit of a sort of a transfer update tonight as we're recording, and just see as well that Chelsea have lost to Arsenal, so the Scousers have still got a chance to get in top 4, which is a bit annoying, but
Does that mean if we beat them tomorrow, then is that chance has gone, hasn't it?
I think it has, mate. I think, just having a quick look now, they're sort of 7 points behind Chelsea, but they've got 2 games in hand. So, yeah, I think if we beat them tomorrow, I think that's pretty much done.
Yeah.
So, a bit of motivation there.
I tell you what, last night, if City were going to win the league in a pandemic year, on a night where Liverpool were fucking causing a fuss because United had played a fucking unfielded team, and that made all the headlines, that'd be the night when you wanted City to win the league, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It was weird, wasn't it, last night? Because I don't know about you, but obviously, like you're saying, City won the league, and we put that reserve team out, and it didn't feel like that had happened. I didn't feel like City won the league. Oh, fuck, I don't know, maybe it was because
there wasn't much of a title race, was there? Let's be honest. It was just like, they're going to win it eventually. Yeah. So
none of us certainly thought we were going to win the league, and you knew that they weren't going to lose against Newcastle and Brighton and Everton. So yeah, it was just like, if anything, I was surprised it would took it to the last sort of 3 games or whatever, because I thought it had been done before then. So yeah, like last night, I was sort of after the game, we did the game here, the Leicester game, and it was like City won the league. Do you know what?
I don't even think their fans were that arsed when you look at the. I mean, we all like to poke holes at City fans and the lack of them. But even that was half-assed a fucking celebration by their own very low standards. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't even a fucking inflatable blue banana.
It was like I seen a reporter. I know Natalie Quirk was down there, and she was reporting, and she did the thing where she looks over her shoulder. There was no one there. There was literally, you know, when you go like, oh, I'm here in front of Old Trafford. United fans are here. They've just won the league. There's no, you know what I mean? I'll just grab some, or you know, you can see that they're all jumping around. She just must have looked and thought, fucking hell, there's no one here. And just carried on, obviously, you know, doing a piece to camera. But it was mad. And then it was like, I seen a great tweet where it was like, dozens of City fans have arrived. Dozens. Fucking hell. There's literally 24 at least. I was like, oh my God, that is just like, I won't mind, like, you've not won the league that much that it becomes unimportant to you.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You've won, 5 Premier League titles, and, you know, you've took it off the Scousers. You haven't retained it. It wasn't yours. You've got it back. So you think there'd be a bit more enthusiasm, especially when we've all been sort of not in the football matches for over a year. It's like an excuse, innit, to go down there and have a bit of a party. So even by their standards, I was surprised.
But you've got to remember it's the we're not really here thing that they've got. The hill at Blackburn. You can't forget the 20 fans that stood there.
That sounds like it should be built alongside the Battle of Hastings, doesn't it? The hill of Blackburn, where the mighty men of Manchester / Stockport took on Lancashire.
It's just a fucking. It is fun, isn't it? It's just. It is. I know people go, "Oh, you fucking bitter and all that," but the evidence is there. Come on, you can see it for yourselves. Do you know
I really wasn't asked in the slightest. Like really, and I don't know if that's down to my apathy towards football during the pandemic, or you know what, where United are at the moment. But it's just I wasn't bothered in the slightest, and I don't think I wasn't even that asked now in hindsight about Liverpool winning it last year. Not as much as I would have been if we had been out, you know, if we'd been going to games and stuff like that. I think it'd have been rammed down our throat a little bit more. But it wasn't as painful as I thought, to be honest.
It's easier when you can see it coming. Like when you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's no, like obviously 2012 was devastating because it was last minute. It was like,
but then you could see that coming because you never really expected City to lose that.
It was just the manner of it though, losing at the Etihad that season, dropping the points at home to, I know that was the game before, dropping the points at home to Everton, losing to Wigan, drawing at Everton, losing at the Etihad, and then sort of on that final day, just doing it that way. Do you know what I mean? Had City fucking gone 3-0 up against QPR and then conceded 2 late goals, it wouldn't have been that bad. It was to be 2-1 down and then get the 2 goals and then it finished at 3-2, you fucking like, just when you think, actually, could this happen? No. That was fucking really, you know, a lot more frustrating and gutting than this season where it was like, for me, it was over. I mean, at the very latest, and I mean the latest, was Sheffield United when we lost that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's being fucking generous. So there was no point where I was thinking, oh, you know what, there could be a twist in the tail. I mean, I've seen some people talking about the game last night, Solskjaer not putting a strong team out because there was still a chance. And you think, fucking come on.
Oh, come on.
Like, no, there wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, you're asking City to do something they've never done ever under Pep, and that's lose fucking 3 games on the spin against shit teams as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just not going to happen.
But then it's different for you though anyway, because you basically react to every United game live.
What do you mean?
Well, because you do the watch-alongs.
Yeah.
So it's quite a different sensation for you, presumably, because you're not watching the games at home. So you have to add sort of something to it because you've got thousands of people watching you.
You say that, but I didn't. I sort of had, sometimes I did a watch along, sometimes I did have time. The funniest one, well, not the funniest one, it was shit, but for the Everton one, you know, when we got that last minute, we conceded the last minute equaliser.
Yeah.
If you actually watch the watch along, it's just me, Joe, and Macca just sat there like that.
Yeah, because that got commented on quite a lot because of that, because you wasn't trying to sort of be the, you know, what some fan channels are over sort of acting.
I'm not gonna, you know that, Scotty, and you know you've both been on the channel, and both I always invite you on when you can, because you know when we took it over, we didn't want to do that. I don't want to be screaming and shouting and performing. You know, my instinct and my feeling then is exactly how I was on car. I was just gutted. I just felt empty, and I was just like, well, I mean, to be honest with you, I know it's Sheffield United, but actually thinking about it, that was probably the moment where I just thought, well, this is fucking done. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the way we did it as well, 94 and a half minutes. It's like, for fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? It was just like, it was gutting, and I see, you know, I'm not going to slag off all the fan channels. Well, I'm lying, I am. Where you see people like screaming at a red card and like throwing things about and like, you know what I mean, knocking people's hands and I think if I'm at home watching a match and one of my players gets a red card in a fucking, you know, a league game when my team sat in 11th, I'm a really screaming and fucking throwing my children across the room. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know. If someone doing a foul throw makes you stand up from your seat, you need more action in your life. That's just fucking sad, isn't it?
It's like, do you know, like, I'm not into that, like screaming and this running commentary of it on a red card for like 10 minutes after it's happened. Like,
but it's right. It's like watching football in the pub, though, isn't it? Because you get people in there that are obviously not that bothered about it, but then over exaggerate everything.
But at least they're drunk.
Half the time they're not. They just shout because they can. Just do what they want.
The funny thing I think about the whole like fan cam phenomenon. I mean, how long has it been going? Really, what, last 5-10 years? It's sort of 5 years. It's sort of really been taken off.
Andy Tate for
the Moisey sort of
was 2014. Watch-alongs have been a bit more recent. They're like Arsenal Fan TV and some of the other ones. Like in terms of watch-alongs, it's been like last few years.
Yeah. Having said that, they've been around for longer, but it wasn't quite as big.
The
Football Republic did there was a channel called the 12th Man that did them. Sky Sports Fan Zone did it in like 2007. It's the same thing.
I remember one of the first ones I remember the Fan Zone. Not the first ones, but one that sticks in my mind was the Arshavin 4-goal game at Anfield. The Fan Zone for that was actually brilliant because it was like some Arsenal fan just fucking going berserk.
But is this on Sky?
Yeah, and it was a similar thing to the watch along.
Yeah,
well, it's exactly the same.
So what I mean is that when you look at this as a sort of new media, it's quite in its infancy, isn't it? So people are only copying what's been popular beforehand without having actually sort of afterthought as to how good it, you know, how good it is. You know, we're still in the Richard Keys and Andy Gray era of fan cams.
But then, having said that, I think we're in Mark 2 now because you see a lot of the big football YouTube channels like the Football Republic, like Copper 90, like Kick TV. That doesn't really exist anymore as a format. It's more branched out into other things now. There's the rise of the big football channel backed by a big media company, whether that was I think it was Big Balls Media who owned Copper 90, Kick TV who are owned by an American sort of startup. They don't really exist in the same format anymore. It's kind of branched out into different things like the Kickoff and several other sort of individual channels.
Yeah, I meant more sort of in the sort of acting side of it, especially more from the sort of the fan cam. I'm a big fan of Copper Night and what they do over there and stuff.
But you know, it's weird because you look at, for me, the Andy Tate infamous rant, which was sort of like a watermark for a lot of it. Watershed moment, for a lot of it. It was like when it took it to a new level because he sort of went from being on this YouTube channel that had like 50,000 subscribers, whatever, to being everywhere. And I remember seeing Andy around that time when I was a reporter, and he literally was, I know it sounds crackers, but he became one of the most famous people in the fucking country. He did. Like, he was getting mobbed. He had people coming looking for him, reporters and TalkSport and all that, coming to his work, you know, trying to find him. But if you watch that rant that he does, and it's not even a rant, really. If you actually watch it, he's not swearing, he's not screaming, he's just sort of building up to it. And then he's like, you know, he's biggest fool in Manchester, and then storms off. And because it's natural and because it's Andy, and if you know Andy, that's the way he is.
Yeah.
It sort of works. But then when you see others doing it, and it's like screaming, threatening people, arranging fights, fucking God knows what else. Do you know what I mean? Like, it does become contrived. It does become like rehearsed.
Yeah.
You do see that. You can see like, you can almost see it a lot when it's like you thought of that line in your, you know, this morning in your house. Like,
but then I heard
they're overdoing it now, like in terms of the screaming, the swearing and stuff.
I heard Neil Smythe used to run Full Time Devils on a podcast saying he actually used to turn people down to do fan cams because he knew they were acting like that after Andy Tate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with Andy as well is he'd been around the fan cams for months and never done one. And that was that one that he did that went viral. I think Macca said that like it was the end of the fan cams. Because if you notice, there's no one really there, I don't think. He was there and Macca said, "Do you want to do one?" And he was like, "Go on then, yeah." Because he was a bit annoyed and he was like, "Do you know what? Fuck." Because he just used to watch him, Andy. He's quite actually, believe it or not, quite a sort of shy guy. And he just did it. And then that was it. But you're right, yeah, because then you had people trying to copy that.
Because that comes as a benchmark, doesn't it? And people see that as a popularity. And it's like if Andy Tate was fucking, I don't know, Oasis, and every cunt after him is turning into Kasabian and fucking the Cortinas and stuff, and that's what
You're right, and it's like, and then you had with like the Arsenal Fan TV lot, because they went big, and their thing was more like, you know, there was more of a soap opera going on there, wasn't there? Because you had like Ty and Claude always arguing about pro-Wenger, Wenger out. Then you had like, was it the other lads who was more sort of kicking off more, like getting more angry and
I think that evolved into it though, because I think at the start the intention probably wasn't to make it like that, but then they realised that it could turn into that, so they just kind of changed what they were doing in the same way that other people as well have decided to sort of play a character because they know that their knowledge of certain teams is not as good as other people's, so they've got to make up for that with a character.
No, yeah. I think you're right, because it does feel like that's your role. You're that role. This is yours. You argue with him. You know what I mean? Like, it always does seem to fit a pattern. And it obviously works. It's, you know, I mean, I think when Arsenal got knocked out of Europa League the other day, Arsenal Fan TV, or AFTV as they're called now, had 100,000 people concurrent watching him. Like, for that last 10 minutes. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
But the thing is, and that's what, and because it's being watched now more so, because even fans who are of Arsenal, of other clubs like ourselves, will tune in just to see the fucking meltdown, and because they know what it's not for the insight, and it's because it's so badly scripted, like a Channel 5 drama. Remember Family Affairs when Channel 5 first came out? That's what Arsenal Fan TV is. You know what I mean? And that's oh, what was the other one? Remember was it El Dorado? Remember El Dorado?
El Dorado, the Spanish one.
Yeah.
That was quality. That was literally like they're taking the piss with this one.
Benidorm for BBC One, that was.
Wasn't it? But you're right, because like you say, you know, there isn't that many Arsenal fans to start with, the amount of subs they've got, and it's like, you know, we sort of know, because we know when we've got a game on, like, and they've got a game on beforehand. We know that if Arsenal lose, our viewers won't be as high, because a lot of our viewers will be watching Arsenal Fan TV for the meltdowns. Honestly. And if Arsenal win, our viewers will be higher, because people won't bother with Arsenal Fan TV, because they're not Arsenal fans wanting to see other Arsenal fans celebrating and commenting on the game. It's just non-Arsenal fans, a lot of it, wanting to see people going mental, basically, you know, threatening to fucking kill someone or whatever.
How many of your viewers are season ticket holders then? Because when I look at the live chat and a lot of the people that follow and interact with your stuff, it doesn't tend to be, I don't get the impression that a lot of them are match goers.
No, I think like, 'cause I'm in a few groups and forums and stuff, and there are, especially with the younger fans, quite a few of the younger season ticket holders have started getting onto it. The older lot don't tend to. A lot of our fans, most of our fans are actually from the UK, and people think they're all from abroad, but they're not. The sort of demographic is a lot of them are from the UK. A lot of them, though, you know, well, it's a bit of a mix. Not of match-going fans, but I know this sounds proper fucking egotistical and stupid, but, and I know, you know, we do get a lot of stick as well, but I get stopped quite a lot around here, and like when I'm on the tram and stuff, by people who like tend to watch us. So there's quite a few from Manchester, but I think most of it's just from the UK, sort of scattered around.
You've come a long way, haven't you? When you used to get stopped from the police, and now you're getting stopped in the fucking.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do get stopped. People trying to give me abuse and tell me to fuck off and stop doing what I'm doing. Like
flex.
Yeah, that was the best one. Someone on Twitter said to me, someone said something to me on Twitter, and the other guy replied. He said, "He's full of shit. Him anyway. He's a fucking Spurs fan." It's about me. And then the guy replied and said, "No, you've got him mixed up with someone else. You've got him mixed up with the other kid." And then he went, "Oh, right, that's..." And then he named someone else. It wasn't even me or the other guy he was meant to be. it was like someone completely like Robbie Lyle or someone he thought was like, what the fuck are you on about? So yeah, there's a little bit of that, but I mean, I kind of get it. I know there's this sort of thing now with fan cams and YouTube channels. It's like, oh, you're all fucking just performing to the camera. You want, from a United point of view, you want United to lose. You all, hate the manager, you hate the club, you hate everything. And we're not like that. And I think people that watch us know that. Do you know what I mean? We are, all four of us who are the main owners, presenters, go to the game, have been going for years, that sort of stuff, if it matters to people, and give a shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I think the message slowly but surely is getting through. But by and large, when people lump fan channels and fan cams and YouTube together, it's like they always think of the contrived, scripted, ranting, fucking lunatic performing, trying to get his influencer deal, which...
Because that's by and large what gets rammed down people's throats, isn't it, and stuff. It's very rarely that sort of you see it, not because your stuff doesn't go viral on the paddock, but it's just that the stuff with the Arsenal fan TV and the meltdowns, that's what people get forced down on. Maybe the United stand mob more. But I remember when I was at the I wasn't at the protest, but if I was at the protests, then I'm pretty sure that I would have heard some abuse being slung from quarters of the protesters towards fan cams, and I was like, and I was like, well, who gives you? And I'm like, I'm 40 now, so I'm like old school red, or sort of in between the two lines, because I don't mind the fan cam channels. They are what they are, and I understand that generations will move on and stuff. And I was speaking to Andy Mitten about it. I interviewed Andy Mitten for something the other week, and he was saying that he's got a problem with some of them. He actually name checked you, Jane. He was saying, like, obviously he's knowing you and the stuff that you've done for United We Stand, and you've earned your stripes. And I think that a lot of the problem is the fans that aren't actually match going Reds that have sort of seen the club as being a way to make money for themselves. It's fucking very Glazer like, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Well, just sort of leeching off it.
Yeah, it annoys me, because people just lump you all together, and people will some of the people will differentiate, and I've had that. Like, Pete Boyle said that he hates fan cams and he hates fan channels, and he's always going on about it. He hates some of the people that I work with, but he's, usually when he mentions me, he's like, Jay's the only one who I sort of have known for years, and he's not, he's the only one. He literally says he's the only one I can be doing with, sort of thing, because he fucking hates the whole fan channel thing. Andy, obviously, I've known him since I was 12. Others who know, but I know it sounds mad, but like, I used to sell fucking the fanzine, but it's like you'll get lumped together. It's funny because I was at the protest on the other Sunday, and my missus was there, and I went over to chat. She was with a girl we all know, Nicole, and Nicole, it's the first time we met each other like properly. We spoke online loads, and she was like, "Can we have a picture?" And then as we were having a picture, someone walking past said something about YouTube or something. You fucking YouTube, and like. And that was the only time anyone said anything to me that day. But my missus, my missus was like, what's he fucking saying? And I was like, just fucking leave me. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? But then we were stood, we were chatting and we were stood. And it's funny enough, Tomo was there and a few others, and we were stood around. And then I noticed that, like, there was a load of the other lot from the other channel was stood there. And Joe said to me, this is a bit like YouTube corner here. We need to fuck off from here. Because it's like, if you looked at where the phone box is, near Old Trafford, we were all sort of stood in that corner. Not deliberately. It's just literally where we ended up meeting, and my missus had to give some T-shirts to someone, and and it was like, this is a bit on top, because now it's beginning to look like we're all... A division, sort of. In the corner. And we'd been mingling, and, I fucked off back into the sort of near the Munich tunnel and stuff, and everyone else sort of scattered around. And then I saw a piece in the MEN, and he was saying, like... I think it was our old mate Luckhurst, and he was like,
good friends.
Yeah. The YouTube lot were there, but after getting a load of abuse, he said they were stood that far away. They may as well have been in the Irwell or something. So I'm presuming it was from that fucking corner. But I just thought, fucking hell.
But then also, I think people have the right to criticise, especially at that protest that none of us were at, of course, because there was one guy. When it was outside the Trinity statue, he was literally going in there with his headphones in and his tripod and his phone, and he was live streaming it like right in the middle of where everyone was singing, which is why people were singing, "You can shove your fucking YouTube up your ass."
Yeah, that's the way around. I think you've got to be as well, like, you've got to understand it. I mean, I did a piece for Andy in United We Stand, and I said, sort of explain where I'm coming from with it all, and And a few people in the WhatsApp group, in the Stretford and WhatsApp group, were saying it's a really good piece. You know what I mean? We get it, sort of thing. But you've got to understand their mentality and where they're coming from, because they see it as this is their club. They love it. They're fighting against the Glazers. They, you know, the whole point of that protest is it's almost against commerciality, if you want to spread it a little bit further. And then you've got someone who is in the middle of it all, live streaming for clicks or whatever. That's the way they look at it. And it's not like, you know, you can argue, like you say, well, I'm promoting this. I'm telling people about it. I'm letting people connect with it who otherwise wouldn't be able to. But they won't see it like that. They'll just see it as you're here making money off this. You're here just to fucking...
Especially if they don't know who you are as well, and you've just shown up to film it. And I think the problem was with Devils, especially when it launched, it wasn't helped that it was owned by Fremantle, even though it wasn't really, and it was sort of an offshoot of it. And then people used that to say, yeah, you're owned by a media company. What do you know?
Mate, that was the thing, you know, Red Issue sort of did a thing about it, and a few others. And it's like, you know, you can't deny that. It was started by a media company. You know, it was someone in a media company who was a United fan who said, let's do this. But it was still started by a media company. And it was owned by a media company for years. Now, you know, it isn't anymore. It's owned by us. Do you know what I mean? There's 4 of us who literally own it. And, you know, we're doing it, you know, and people say, oh, you're just fucking in it for the money. Let's put it like, there's been times when we've not took a wage. Do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't, like, and I'm not fucking asking for sympathy or anything, but it's like, this isn't about the money. The jobs that we were in, all of us, paid us a lot more than this. And we left, you know, 2 of us left our jobs to do this because I love fucking doing what I'm doing. I love chatting about United. I love the sort of, the crap that we have here and the opportunity to do things the right way. So it's not, you know, about trying to make money. It's about, for me, doing something that I enjoy doing. But I can understand why people look at it and go, it's just about money. You're just bleeding from the club. You're just doing this. And I saw a video once of Gaz Drinkwater, of all people, getting a load of shit. He was doing something for Norwegian TV at Old Trafford. And someone went over him and was like, you just like the Glazers. And I think, I mean, it annoyed me a lot, that, because for starters, we all know Gaz. He's like the nicest lad in the world. He wouldn't say boo to goose. He's not, you know, he's nothing like any of the Glazers. I think he's I think he still is a season ticket holder. He goes to all the games. He just loves United. And it's that whole thing of, anyone that's associated with a fan channel is a twat, basically. Yeah. And it's like they're the enemy, and it's like that's how it sort of becomes a little bit. And what I've done recently, what we've been doing is, you know, I mean, I know Ian Sterling from Must. He's a mate, you know, we're doing stuff with Must. I know some of the TRA. I know him, you know, the friends, and like, well, a couple of them are, and even the ones that haven't have been in touch. And it's like, oh, like what you did there, and like what you did this. Can you help us promote this? Can you help us push that? And it's like, I know it sounds a bit cheesy and corny, but if we did work together with some more of these fans, we can help and we can push certain things. Yeah. You know, I've had people that in the past would never speak to me or what have anything to do with the fan channel getting in touch. You know, I had someone the other day message me saying, can I pass your number on to someone who in the past has slagged us off, and who then messaged me and said, oh, can you, you know, appreciate what you're doing, is there any chance you can do this, this and this? And it's like, yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Like, we can promote these protests. We can let you know, let people know about what, you know, what's going down with these sort of things against the Glazers and the sponsorship stuff and all that. And I think, you know, there is a sort of chance there with this to sort of work together. And, you know, especially with the Glazers out stuff. And at the end of it all, you know, if you want to start going back to slagging us off, then fair enough. Or you can even do it off you can even do that while it's happening. But we can serve a purpose. And the thing that annoys me as well with all that is, and again, I'm not being cheesy, but especially in lockdown, I've had it a lot, right? I've had it a lot of messages and comments and stuff about, you guys help us connect with the club. You guys are part of my experience. You guys have really helped me in lockdown. I get a lot of messages. I've had it from this channel as well, and from a lot of the stuff I do. I've had it about talking about my sobriety, about talking about my struggles with drug addiction, about talking about my struggles with mental health. Do you know what I mean? People who watch and you say, and I'm not fucking expecting a pat on the back, but for a lot of people, the YouTube channels are their entertainment, their avenue, their connection with the club. You can't get there. And it's just a bit of basic argument to go, you're all shit, you're all parasites, you all need to fuck off. And you think, you know what, there's a lot of people that get a lot from what we do. And I just think, live and let live a bit. Yeah. If you don't want to watch it,
don't watch it. Yeah, don't watch it. No, I mean, it's like there are other ways to watch football matches. You don't have to always watch it on Sky. You don't like the commentator. You don't like what fucking Jamie Redknapp's doing. watch fucking Kazakhstan stream on Twitter, or other streams are available. I find sometimes it's the arrogance, and I think some of it might be generational, that other people shouldn't have an opinion on football or use this new media. And I think that's because it's such an alien concept to them that they can't adapt to it. And I know Andy Mitten said that when he first started writing his own fanzines outside Old Trafford, he was getting a lot of shit. It's a different, you know what I mean? It's the same. It's a different format, but it's the same thing, isn't it? Really, you know, where like who's this lad here selling fucking fanzines? You know, got your earn your stripes and stuff. And like you, Adam, and Steve are all fucking, you know, you seasoned Reds. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've fucking come overnight. And the horse has already bolted, and there are people out there making money from United, and there's other media organisations making money from United. So if you're doing it in a way that's constructive and you're not trying to stir the pot for clickbaits, and I don't see the problem with it. You either don't like it, don't fucking watch it.
I try to make that point, you know, like it is one of them, and it's like certain things there's certain things you can't win. Like, you know, a good example is if you're outside Old Trafford and someone asks for a selfie, that is a no-win situation. That, like, if someone asks me for a selfie and I've had it, can I have a selfie with you, Jay? I'm not fucking Madonna. Do you know what I mean? Of course you can. Who the fuck am I? Do you know what I mean? You know, literally, my own kids don't want selfies with me. So if a stranger's coming up and saying, can I have a selfie with you? I'm not going to be a prima donna and go, no. You know, I'm not doing that. But if I say yeah, which I do, because I'm never going to say no to someone, people look at it and go, look at him, he thinks he's fucking big time. If I was to say, if I was to say, no, mate, people go, fucking look at him, thinks he's, you know what I mean? Like, you can't win there. So I just do what the fuck I'd have done anyway, do you know what I mean? And like, if people want to moan about it, then fuck him. But it's like...
You and your little Key 103 mini car going around.
Oh, mate, I used to love that.
You know what? I miss that smart car. I used to love that. Honestly.
Fucking James, I'd not seen Jay for must be 5-6 years, and I'm coming down the M602, and I just turn around and I see this fucking Key 103 car, and you don't see many of them about, and the next minute I see these fucking hands going up doing this fucking dancing in the car, and I'm like, I thought it is, isn't it? And I just stopped. I was just there for ages, just watching him fucking go, and I'm like, oi! He's like, and then fair fucks to him. He carried on doing it. You know what I mean? He wasn't embarrassed. He's a big fucking,
yeah, probably, you know. I'm not saying I drank and drive or anything, but I might have just been back in the heyday now. But I remember that car in the Riots. It used to be sponsored by Total Football, I think it was, and they were pink. And when the Manchester Riots happened in 2011, was it 2011?
2011, yeah.
Yeah. I had the unmarked car. We used to have a Qashqai that was unmarked, or a Duke. We had a Duke with markings on, Q103 on, and one that was just plain black. And they were attacking news cars like all the rioters. Like the BBC one got burnt out and everything, mate. It was crackers. And I had the one that was unmarked, so they rang me and they were like, we need the unmarked car to take these reporters, you know, to different areas where it's rioting. It's like, yeah, no worries. Because I was in Preston at our sister station. Drove back, got to right near Q103 station, and I stopped off at the petrol station. And because I was a bit flustered, I put fucking the wrong petrol in the car, right? Drove down the road and the car conked out. And as soon as it conked out, I knew what I'd done, right? I thought, fucking hell, I can't believe I've done this. So I had to run to Q103. And the only cars there were these little smart cars, sponsored by Football, painted pink. So I got in one of them, went and got one of the reporters, Michelle Ponting, picked her up, took her to Salford. And they were like, we got to Salford and there was like literally a news car that was upside down, burnt out. They just fucking tipped it up and fucking burnt it. They were like, proper rioting in Salford precincts, throwing bricks and all sorts. And all of them sort of stopped and stared at our car and looked at it, trying to work out, is this anything to do with news? What the fuck is this car? Like, you know, like a car, like, because it didn't have any, it was like, yeah, like football. So I was just sat there and I'm thinking, like, don't panic. And like, and I remember Ponto said to me, she's like, I don't feel very safe here. I think we should go. And I was like, it's up to you if you want to. And I'm thinking, please God, let's get the fuck out of here. She's like, yeah, I think I was like, fuck for that. It's like, all right then. So we drove off, but my heart was going because they were just fucking going berserk. And anything to do with news, they were just having none of it because it was proper like feral. But yeah, we got away with that one, man, and because I would have got a right bollocking as well because it's my fault we didn't have an unmarked car.
It's mad, them riots, though, weren't they? The 2011
Mate,
riots.
do you remember the sentences they were giving out for him?
Oh, yeah, even people like sort of when people do like Facebook messages and they were trying to give sentences out and make make a example of certain people, and do some. Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous.
It was BBM, wasn't it, that people were using instead of
Facebook? Yeah, it's BBM, was it? Yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
But it was like, I remember there was one woman who, first offence, she had a stolen pair of jeans, I think. She got 4 years, and it was like she had kids.
That must have got thrown out later on.
Loads of them did, mate. Loads of them did. Like, loads of them got draconian sentences, like, you know, people that just basically picked up a telly or whatever. Or
doesn't that make you worry about our justice system? That shit like that can happen, and then straight away. I mean, for them people who may or may not have been at the protest at the weekend, you know, you could have got lifted there just by fucking not wearing a face mask and giving draconian sentences. But it was fucking bizarre in Manchester. I remember watching it a couple of days before when it was happening in London. And then there was rumours that it was going to, I think it sort of spread, didn't it? I think Birmingham got a bit, and then Manchester just went mad. And I remember having a big fallout with Terry Christian on Twitter. It was he talks to me now, but back then, and he was saying, because I think he was getting interviewed on North West Tonight or Granada as being the fucking spokesperson for fucking Manchester as usual, and like fucking about 20 years too late. And then he was saying all this, these youngsters today don't know, and he was talking like a proper granddad. And I thought, yeah. And I texted him and said, "Oh, you fucking champagne socialist! You keep going about all these fucking. Are you worried about the working class and they have nothing to do? You know, why do you not look at the causes? What makes children or young kids act like this? What, you know what I mean? Why is going stealing fucking bags of basmati rice and selling it in the local pub in Levenshulme, where my mum might have got a bargain, but you know, why is that acceptable behaviour?" And we went back and forth. And he started going like, and I think I'd first put like I might have first put Poet on my Twitter handle there, and he just presumed, he goes, "Oh, Poet, are you? What sort of fucking working class lad are you?" I was like, "Born in fucking Longside, you twat." And I think
there's no grey area there, is there? It's not like you say like I was born in, you know, Trafford, because that could be like, that could be Partington, or it could be fucking Altrincham. Do you know what I mean?
Longside, it's like bordering Rusholme, Ardwick, Gorton, and Levenshulme. It's like, yeah.
And Andy and Brown's written a song about it as well, so it has to be a certified Manchester council estate.
Listen, mate. Let's not use him as a fucking token reference.
No, but I mean before all that. This is the thing that annoys me.
That's got to be the most disappointing thing in lockdown, you know. Ian Brown, like seriously, and it's
that's like a documentary where Louis Theroux goes round to fucking Warrington or wherever he is.
Yeah,
Ian Brown.
you said to me, like, you know, a year and a bit ago, Ian Brown, what do you think of him? Fucking love the guy, legend. Yeah. Now I'm like, I don't ever want to hear about him or from him again. The guy's lost the plot big time, and it's just
the sad thing is odd. His solo work is actually quite good. Like Unfinished Monkey Business is a good album.
Yeah, no, it's a good album. You're right.
What was the one that he did with Sinead O'Connor? Is it Illegal Attacks? The World Is Yours. That album, solid. And then like the last, Since the Stone Roses reformed, and then all the stuff after that, it's like it's gone all bit like his last solo album. I thought was really off.
Yeah, I quite like the Golden Gaze.
Yeah.
The Dolphin and Monkeys and stuff. But I think we mentioned it on the podcast around the time when he came out with first doing his rants, is that if it's not the year's 1988, 89, and I'm turning around to you, I know you're not born, James, so it's not your fault. We're not at Wolverhampton now, right?
I love that you still mention that, even though you weren't there.
Mate, I mention it on the channel at least once a month.
It's folklore. It's folklore, that man. That's up there with the fucking
what you're dealing with. Like, if anyone watching doesn't know or listening doesn't know, James, someone had to go.
Should charge you every time you say it.
Go on.
I said I should charge you every time you say it. Should get royalties for it.
I'd be skint and you'd be rich. Go on.
So, Wolverhampton away, FA Cup. I think it was 0-0, right? That's how good of a game it was. Got outside, and some guy was just digging into me, Dave Pritt, for being like fake fans. Well, like we were talking about earlier, essentially. And then he just started having a pop at me for saying that I'm not a proper United fan because I just didn't go to your away games before Ferguson before he retired, which meant that I specifically started to follow United because of the negativity around the club, and that's why I was there because of him.
And just to put into context, how old were you when Sir Alex Ferguson retired?
11.
Okay, that's terrible, mate. I was going on Euro aways at 10.
No excuse that, James. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Hey, you wasn't even at Wolves when you was 11. Fucking disgrace.
So what, I
also as well, Dave Pritt, right? Anyone who doesn't know Dave Pritt does, like, when you're allowed in games, he does like 4 United games a week. He goes to like the women, the under-23s, the under-18s in the first team. I'm not exaggerating. The guy's a machine. He just goes to United games. He's like John and Alex Neild. He goes to all levels of United games. Like, to have a go at James and David Pritt for not going to United is just fucking unreal. It's just ridiculous, honestly. You couldn't have picked 2 worse people to say it to. It's just nonsense. Sorry, mate. Go on. I'm sorry, you were saying...
Oh, yeah, so I was saying, so the year is 1989, and I pose this question to you. In 30 years' time, who do you think will be more in line with your views in life? Morrissey, Ian Brown, or Sean fucking Ryder? Do you know what I mean? Because Sean Ryder's the last bastion of hope, isn't he, now, from the whole Manchester area, when you look at how Morrissey's gone. And the amount of drugs he was putting up his hoop, you know, and fucking and elsewhere, you'd have thought he'd have fell right off.
It's weird, isn't it? Because, you know, you listen to Morrissey's, particularly the Smiths, and like a lot of what he says, you know, it connects, doesn't it? A lot of it does for me. You're like, fucking hell, yeah, man. Like, and then a lot of
Bengalian platforms.
Yeah, not all of it. But like with Sean Ryder, it's
don't pull out the Bengali card. Let him get to the end of the fucking, you know, fuck me.
Me. Come on.
National
like,
Foot
Sean Ryder,
Disco.
a lot of it's yeah. It's fucking like gobbledygook, innit? It is. Like with Sean Ryder's lyrics. It's not like, there's no point in trying to be deeper. It's just fucking nonsense, and he knows it is, but it's funny. And you're like, now, you're right, it's like Morrissey, his views just amaze me. Ian Brown, I just wish he'd just stop fucking talking and stop borrowing his mate's phone to tweet. And Sean Ryder, who, you know, has been through the mill and has been right in the middle of addiction, hasn't he? For years, mate.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah, you know, and he talks about it and that, and he's the only one who's left, I think, because, you know, it's like fucking Mick Hucknall probably talks more sense than Ian Brown.
Didn't Bez have his own political party? Like an anti-fucking party.
Oh, do you know what?
And a friend of mine actually worked on they had a single that came out. Have you got it? Yeah, for the time. I can't remember the name of the actual party.
He did an advert for it as well, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
It's something strange, but I've forgotten what I was
there was when Bez he went to court, Bez, and he read out a statement, and my old boss at Q103 had the statement. He read out this bizarre statement. I've got it somewhere. I've got it here, and it was like how it was like, you know, when Joe, you don't watch Friends, do you?
No.
Like, there's a thing where Joey Tribbiani writes a letter and he gets carried away with the thesaurus. So, like, he's just using the thesaurus so much that instead of, like, saying, like, Joey, he says baby kangaroo. Instead of saying, like, they've got a big heart, he says they've got a bulbing aorta or whatever. It's just like, you know, you're just using loads of big words and stuff like that. And Bez's statement was just like that. He was like, what the fuck is all this? And he'd written it on this piece of paper and he read it out in court. And as he was getting led, I think he got led away in the end because, like, the judge was just like having none of it. And he gave my boss who was reporting on it, he gave him this statement and he showed it me, and it was just like, it was proper like scroll, but it was like, it was mad because it was like scroll, but an essay basically, and he read all this out in the court, Bez, because obviously he went through fucking all sorts, didn't he, Bez? He was like Sean Ryder, them two were just...
His biography is really, really good, you know. Bez's, yeah, Freaky Dancing it's called, but it's all written in Mancunian sort of vernacular, and colloquialisms and stuff. Is it like Irving Welsh did with Train Spotting? He's done the same thing with Mankey. I'm pretty sure Bez didn't write it and probably had a ghostwriter, but I found it really entertaining. The disappointing thing about Morrissey is that when you start comparing the three frontmen there, is that you sort of held Morrissey because him being well-read and literate. It's more disappointing that he's, without being offensive to Sean Ryder, come from a more educated place than Sean has, and then still holds these views. And I think that, you can even if you can't have sort of a level of respect for someone who's got less education to have sort of racist views, you can have a understanding as to, they haven't got a worldly wide view of things. You can understand how they come to this point of view. But for Morrissey to come out and support Britain's first, it's like, really? You?
What do you think I know we've talked about this before, but do you think that Morrissey honestly has these views?
I think he does, because I think it's too far now.
Do you think
I think he'd say it a couple of times.
I saw him on Larry King a few years ago, and I thought, that's not a guy that has these views. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but he keeps on saying them though. I think that's the same goes for Ian Brown. Like Ian Brown, he's replying to people's tweets that are at him saying all this stuff. He wrote an entire letter to a scientist that said, "You're talking bollocks, mate." He wouldn't do that much for it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't commit fully to it.
I get where you're coming from, because there was a part of me that thought, is this almost like trolling, like performing in some way of like, I hate the fucking world, I hate this conformity, I'm going to be this dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm against all this.
Fuck, I don't know. I mean,
I think you're right, it has gone a bit too far now where you look at it and go, nah, man, he must think this. Because I do get where you're coming from, because it's just weird, because if you watch that interview with Larry King, he doesn't do a lot of interviews, Morrissey, but that one with Larry King, which was only like 2015, I think, and he'd agreed to do Larry King because Larry King had retired, but Morrissey said he'd speak to him because he respected him.
Yeah.
And he was like, it felt like a relatively liberal guy talking to Larry King, you know.
I always think he's liberal within limits. I think liberal to his own sort of warped view about how the world should be. But when you're coming out with statements like, "I don't think black and white people will ever get on," or you referring to fucking Chinese people as a subspecies because of how they eat animals and stuff like that. I mean, there's trolling and stuff. I mean, if you're going to troll the general public, I'm not sure racism's the first card you play.
No, you're right. It's not, is it, really?
There's a few steps to get to before you go full Tommy Robinson. You know what I mean?
You never go full Tommy. I mean, you never go straight to full Tommy. You went full Tommy. That's it now.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
No
coming back now.
Yeah, that's it. I do agree. I just was curious what you thought, because for a little while there, maybe it was more hope than expectation. I was thinking, is this like him being a bit different? But then you're right, because you say certain things and you cross the line and you keep doing it to the point of, it's gone now, and it's gone. Like, Morrissey's just fucking done.
I don't know why you're talking about Sean Ryder being a bad lyricist when he's come up with great rhymes such as "Jesus was a black man," "No, Jesus was Batman," "No, that was Bruce Wayne. Who's got the biggest brain."
That's I mean, I'm just bitter because I got cut from the Rope for Luck video. I ended up on the cutting room floor, and I was only 10, and I've never forgiven him. So
I know, because you've told me about 500 times on these podcasts.
That's my claim to fame. That's like,
I'm gonna. If you go before me, I'll stand up at the pulpit and I'll fucking mention that.
You better.
I say he achieved a lot. You know.
You had to overcome a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
He suffered a lot of setbacks.
Often found being chased around Old Trafford by angry men, fucking, because he was on YouTube. But his biggest regret was the being cut out of the Rope for Luck video. So if any, so what I've done in modern technology, I've put him in, and I'll just put a video of a clip in at the end.
Mate, that'll be like the Robert Card. Not the, is it the is the Kardashian hologram? Is it Robert Kardashian?
The dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fucking normal, wasn't it? Hey, we've got a hologram of your dad who helped get OJ off killing people allegedly. Yeah, that was all fucking normal.
It didn't work for him though, did it? I mean, he still got divorced. Or they are getting divorced. It's not. You know, you must be gutted. You got that amount of effort to fucking make a hologram of your father-in-law, and she still divorces you. I'd be a bit pissed.
Man. That's like some high bar. That,
Yeah, but can you imagine the arguing? And the arguing out like fucking sunset. You're like, but I brought your dad back from the dead.
Look I've done.
Look what I did. Yeah.
Hey,
What do you want, your granddad? I can. How far back do you want me to go?
So it's high maintenance here, isn't she?
Yeah.
Hey, what did you get her for Christmas? Got her a dad. What? He's dead, in it. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Kanye's down the pub and all his mates looking around. Fuck, Kanye's gone grave digging.
All his mates like, you've made me look like a right swat now.
Yeah.
All I got my missus was some jewellery from mate Samuel.
Yeah, man. Fucking gold centre. 2 earrings for one.
What's going down in the ghetto anyway before we wrap up, man? What's next on the agenda? I take it you two won't be going to the protest that's due tonight because this is going out Thursday morning.
No,
No.
I wouldn't be there. I don't attend protests, or people like me don't attend protests either. So no, we won't be going. But I expect to. What did you think of the whole the boards and you know barriers that have been put up? Which was funny when the sort of rain was dripping through. So the press box yesterday just shows the fucking how far fetched.
They picked the wrong day. That's the funny thing. The police obviously don't have any clue as to what day they're actually going ahead on because they put all the police there for the Leicester game. And no one showed up.
You know what I love though is that you don't need fucking like Jason Bourne to go onto Twitter and go like, oh actually no, it's Thursday, not Tuesday. You know what sort of espionage you have to sort of infiltrate someone's tweets.
So I saw someone say that it was like Manchester's Takeshi's Castle that is going to be like.
That was quality. That is that still going? You should bring that back. That was fucking. But a lad I know who may or may not know something about the process. He was like telling me that on Twitter he had some followers suddenly appear asking him questions that were a bit
suspicious. Yeah, is it Mr. Is it at CM?
Yeah.
And
it was the state of this. Let's just say that Jason Bourne's job's safe anyway. You're not exactly James Bond in it here. But yeah, it was like, it is weird. It's going to be weird because I don't know how the next one will go down because there's the ones, we had two, didn't we, at Old Trafford? We had this sort of, what I class as almost the YouTube friendly one, where it was like all the, the internet generation sort of taking selfies and videoing each other, and it was all very, and that
burning an American flag.
Yeah, that young kid who was like, I'm just here for the buzz, mate. All that one.
Yeah.
And then there was the more old school one. But there was quite a lot of us there. Fucking everyone knows that I was there. I don't want nothing to hide. But yeah, for that one. And then, I don't know, I think tonight, a lot of it might just depend on the weather and the fact it's a Thursday night. It's people are back in work. It might be.
Yeah. I can't see them there being as many.
But it depends how organised it is. I mean, if Red Issue are behind it again and they've got a mob of people that know what they're doing, like before when they went to the Lowry Hotel to disguise the police who were all at the stadium and then couldn't get there in time. It just depends. You don't know.
Yeah, there might be something sort of coordinated. You're right. Because I think people got distracted from that the other time. Like the fact that a lot of like the big bulk of what was done was the Lowry, and it was like everyone was just so focused on Old Trafford.
Yeah.
People began to think the Lowry was the afterthought when it wasn't. And you've seen like how even a small group, I was talking about the one at the training ground, a pal of mine went to that one and he got a message that morning. And because he messaged me from Carrington, a picture of the Carrington Road, and I just fucking ignored it. I thought, why has he sent me that? And then I realised what was going on.
Yeah.
But apparently he got a message that morning saying, we're going down to Carrington. Like, do you want to get on it? And he's like, yeah, fucking have a bit of that. And he just went down, do you know what I mean? So there's all these little things going on as well as the organised one, that other little bits and pieces. So you just don't know, do you? You don't know what's gonna go down. It was just like, I think as well, I mean, I'm not giving anything, too fucking, insightful away, but a few people have been in touch that I know who are over in Florida as well, and they're talking about doing some protests over there and stuff, where the actual Glazers are. Sky obviously doorstepped in, didn't he, when he was out shopping. I mean, I think this is going to rumble on a lot, and I think you'll have different people different groups doing different things. So you'll have the big organised ones, the ones that, everyone knows about. You'll have these other little pockets. I mean, it becomes its own thing, doesn't it?
It gets a life of its own as well, doesn't it? So I wonder if I think if people are doing stuff in Florida and it gets up in their face, and that might be more impactful than them doing stuff at Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? But whilst it made a lot of noise, the one last Sunday, and it was quite refreshing to see people like, okay, we poke fun at Scousers between the rivalry, but I thought Jamie Carragher spoke really well when he was talking about it, especially when you looked at how Souness was sort of berating United fans as being sort of bitter over their lack of success, and you're seeing Carragher come to the front about and sort of defend it. So it was good seeing some quarters of ex-pundits come forward and say, no, it's wrong. But I mean, in your heart of hearts, Jay, do you think that it's gonna? Do you think ultimately that this could change? This could change anything? Really?
I think all these different elements coming together could do. I genuinely do.
No,
I'm not saying they will, but I think they could. I think if you're hitting sponsors to the point that sponsors are pulling out, if you're causing just a tension over there where they're feeling it on their doorstep, if you're disrupting football matches, making them pay for extra security, making them having to bring out the police, if you're just all these different elements, disrupting training, disrupting this, getting negative media attention constantly, then it could bring them to the table where they start thinking, all right, I know there's a meeting planned with Joel Glazer, but that's lip service. We all know that. But the next one could be, all right, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about, and I'm not trying to be, over ambitious or naive, but I do think there's an element there. This to me feels a little bit different than the ones in the past. And it might just be, because there's been so much made of the Super League and what's gone on in this such a short space of time. Because we know in 2005 it was all popping off, and we know what happened then. But I just feel there's something here, and I feel that with all these different factors, that maybe we can see a bit of something. I mean, I might be fucking just being naive.
I mean, there's I think there's room for optimism, definitely, and it does feel a little bit different. And I think when you look at what's happened over the last 18 months regarding the pandemic and protests and stuff, and people haven't making their voice heard regarding sort of the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, that which was huge and stuff happening there. James, what's your take on it? Are you the optimist?
I think so. I think, certain sponsors that might be pulling out as well. I think the Trustpilot thing is a big thing that people are overlooking as well, in the sense that TeamViewer are getting loads and loads of negative reviews on their Trustpilot page. And they've gone to Trustpilot and have said, look, can you try and stop all of this? Because our company's got a 1-star review on Trustpilot. And people are saying all sorts of stuff like it's giving my laptop AIDS and all these terrible things about them.
Bad AIDS or good AIDS?
Bad.
Oh, no, you don't want that. That's no. This
so
is
that,
the thing, though,
that might stop it.
Yeah, because even if all that does is make potential future sponsors think, forget United.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not necessarily the sponsors you've just got now, but ones that are looking at clubs, sponsoring a club or whatever, and you go, United's a fucking disaster at the minute. Don't go near them.
Yeah, that's feral, innit? Who's going to touch that? Who's going to touch that hornet's nest? Especially, if TeamViewer are pulled out or whatever, who's going to go in? See now that, so they sort of. I quite like that. I think we spoke about Gandhi before, that sort of civil disobedience sort of side of it and stuff. Obviously,
the Hut Group that have supposedly pulled out?
Yeah, I mean, apparently wasn't that a £200 million deal?
Yeah, 200 mil, mate.
I mean,
is it My Protein? I think that they own or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, and the Hut Group are actually a Manchester-based organisation as well.
I mean, there's still that. I mean, James, you'll know more about it than I do. You're quite clued up on it. But was it Jim O'Neill from the Red Knights wrote that letter, and I don't know where those guys are. Are they still sort of?
Well, I mean, there was the thing in 2010 where they said that they tried to take over the club, and that kind of didn't work out. But I think they sent that letter. It was on the United We Stand podcast actually the other week, speaking to Mitten about sort of how United could be brought out on the German 50+1 thing and everything. But I think because of how big United are, it's a bit different to what it was 10, 11 years ago, because United are going to, whoever it is, they're going to need billions and billions of pounds to buy United out. So even if it was a consortium, it's still going to take like 7 or 8 really rich people to do it.
There's I can't give too much away, but there's discussions going on with sort of the YouTube community and ex-players, and I'm not going to name names, and politicians about lobbying the government and making some sort of changes there. From what I gather, there should be an announcement soon. I don't know if that's another element as well. When I talk about different elements, the political element is one. Because listen, my thoughts on Boris Johnson is an absolute dickhead, but he's a populist.
I was going to say that, and if he sort of feels that he's losing certain votes and stuff, if he wanted to win them back, then doing that sort of stuff now would be an ideal time to sort of pounce on the situation. But anyway, I've been Scotty, that's been Motty, that's been Youngy. We've been back for another week after fucking the 3-week hiatus. Jay will be on. You'll be on leave, won't you, soon, from your fucking United job for the summer? To be able to get you to do more.
Fucking hell, mate. There's all sorts going on. I don't know.
It's always quiet at United in the transfer window.
I'll just have the Jadon Sancho, Erling Haaland, fucking Deo Upamecano. No, we can't do Upamecano anymore, can we? Declan Rice story on repeat. That'll be the one. But we'll be doing more in the summer. I mean, we did loads in the summer, don't we? Now we've got Youngy as well. This is it now. We can do them every day in the summer.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know, the wife and kids will see, but we shall try. But anyway, keep watching, keep subscribing, tell your mates, and we'll see you soon.